Goedemorgen, dames en heren. Someone has stolen my seat. Yet again, it has been claimed as his own. So I think I'm just going to sit on him. Okay, looks like we are live in all the places. And it's 10 o'clock? What? I was live on time in all the places? What is this shenanigans? What is this debauchery? No way. Well, puppy, well. We did it. Puppy, it's time to roll. It's time to... No, not like that. Here, do you want that? Take it that way. Oh, let's turn the sound off in all the places. Hey, it's still 10 o'clock. Whew. Good morning, everyone. And welcome to Bhakti Bites. For those of you who are new here, hello. My name is Reverend Deborah. I am a movement facilitator, movement in breath, body, and being. And I am your shenanigan shaman, so do not expect to take yourself too seriously in here. Do we talk about serious things? Yeah. But we always remember to weave playfulness, curiosity, and willingness into those things, because in doing so, we open ourselves to the subtlety of reality. Right? Help get ourselves out of dualistic thinking so we may recognize the abundance and opportunity all around us. Hey, Lauren, good morning. So for those of you who have been here before, in Bhakti Bites, we practice a mindfulness tool, and we practice that tool in meditation. For many, many moons now, we have been working with mudras. Our mudra for this week is the Chakra Mudra. The Chakra Mudra works on the chakras. Don't you love it when they're that plain? Anyway, expect extra shenanigans this morning. The Chakra Mudra. Hey, Tony. The Chakra Mudra works to clear the energy channels in the body. Not just the major energy channels, not just the 7 energy centers, but the entire system. It also works by utilizing pressure points in the hand to activate pretty much all the major organs. If you can go online and find yourself a chart for the pressure points on each palm, but they are numerous and include things like the liver, the bladder, the spleen, the kidney, the pancreas, the thyroid. Things like that are all in the palms. So let's do the Chakra Mudra together. Remember, mudras work by redirecting the energy channels in the body. Good morning, Jenny. So we sit for a minimum of 5 minutes with the mudra. I do invite you, if you've got 5 minutes to sit with this mudra, you don't even have to join us for the meditation. You don't have to use the visualization. You don't have to use the mantra. You don't even have to close your eyes. Just hold the mudra for a minimum of 5 minutes so that it can do the work it needs to do on your energy system. This mudra reminds me of like one of those pressurized air can things for the energy body. It's a really powerful practice. So if you sit with it and find that it becomes too intense at any point, please honor where you are in this moment, honor your boundaries, and meet yourself with gentleness and compassion, and just pause your practice. You can always come back to it. Mindfulness is about the deepening layers of subtlety. Finer and finer layers of subtlety. When we begin our practice with mindfulness, we are not in the realm of such subtlety. So it's okay if at the beginning of your mindfulness practice, or even for a while, it feels bulky, awkward, and not so subtle. But we get to those subtle layers not by force. There's an analogy in there about like how you don't make lace with a hammer and nail. I don't know what that was. Work on that analogy. You don't meet the flower in the same way that you meet the rock, right? So if you want to get to these deepening layers of subtlety, you meet your edges with gentleness and compassion. I think about coming across a garden wall, right? Or reading Braille, something so gentle, so subtle. When you meet your boundaries, when you meet your edges. And what do those edges and boundaries look like? Tension. Tension in the body, tension in the mind, tension in the breath. If you are holding this mudra and at any point it becomes a little bit sticky in the breath, take a few deep breaths. If you hear your body saying, whoa, pause. Let those feelings dissipate, integrate, be absorbed, transmuted, and then ask permission and come back to the mudra. If you can come back to the mudra, do so. If not, try again tomorrow. We are not in the business of creating a battle within ourselves. When we do, we create a war that we will wage our entire life long. Hey, Jenny, how are you? I was just watching you play with your poi things. I'm excited for you. So without further ado, the Chakra Mudra is done like so. Bring the palms of your hands together. Are they seriously kid shovels? I like that. I adore you. Okay, bring the palms of your hands together and tip the left hand to a 90-degree angle from the right. Then lift the thumb of the left hand to line up with the index finger of the right. Keep the thumb on the right, aligned in the side with the side of the palm. This feels confusing until you do it a couple of times. So let's do it again. Chakra Mudra, to help clear the entire energy body. It also activates the elements of fire and air in the body, and so it creates even more movement, clearing out blockages for us, clearing out stuck energy, things that are stagnant. This is a really, really, really good mudra. Okay, so how do we do it? Again, palms together. Tip your left hand to a 90-degree angle from the right. Lift the thumb of the left to meet the index finger of the right. Keep the thumb on the right next to the palm. And then we apply gentle pressure here. Now, I encourage you, why is this so hard? So Jenny, I encourage you to find a spot that feels comfortable. Yes. See, I know what I mean. It's really confusing. I don't know why it's confusing the first couple of times. Find where it's appropriate for you. This week, I've been really playing with this mudra and finding different ways to hold it that feel better. I have shoulder and neck conditions that prevent me from doing some things. And listen, sorry, this is really important. I have to repeat this again. Puppy. Mindfulness is about exploring deepening layers of subtlety. So when we bring this mudra here, and we apply that pressure between the palms. That pressure is only pressure created by the intention. I want you to experience this for a second. Press. Put your mudra here and press those palms together. Create tension. Create tension in your arms, in your shoulders, in your hands, in your fingers. Create that tension. Now release. Release that tension. You don't need to create tension like that when you hold your mudra. Do you feel how that expanded all the way through your arms and your neck and your shoulders and your back and your fingers? We don't need to do that. We meet ourselves with gentleness and compassion. All we need in mindfulness, in meditation, is our intention and our attention. So, let's bring our chakra mudra together this time. Palms together. Just touch the palms. Tip your left hand to a 90-degree angle from the right and lift that left thumb to match the index finger of the right. So your left will look like this. Your right will look like this. And then we apply intention between the palms. We don't create tension. You don't need to hurt yourself to find the mudra. Dogs, don't even start right now. Intention is how we apply pressure to our mudra. We hold the integrity of our mudra with our intention. And for this practice, so on Monday, we sit for 5 minutes with the mudra by itself. On Wednesday, we added some pranayama, some breath work to it. If you will remember, if you were with us or you saw the replay, then you will know that we pulled the breath from the root chakra all the way up the front of the body, inhaling, and then from the crown, we exhaled all the way down the back body. It's a really beautiful breath that goes with this chakra energy clearing mudra. So again, that visualization, remember, if you can't visualize, it's not about being able to see images in your mind. It is about your intention and your attention. I love you guys so much. It really is this simple, and it really is complicated. Boys, if you have to go outside, I will put you out there. Maybe. Okay. So, that, again, inhaling the breath from the root all the way up the front body to the crown and exhaling all the way down the back body to the root. We will add that visualization. We will add that breath work during the meditation. And then today we are also going to add what are called the bij mantras or seed mantras for each chakra. You can say them along with me if you know them. If not, you can just listen in. You can also just kind of or with each one. I will tell you now that these are LAM, L-A-M for the root chakra. The sacral chakra is VAM, V-A-M. The solar plexus chakra is RAM, R-A-M. The heart chakra is YAM, Y-A-M. The throat chakra is HAM, H-A-M. The brow chakra is OM, O-M. And then the crown chakra is OM, A-U-M, the open form of OM, the universal form of OM. So, when we get to that point, I will say these mantras, and again, you can just listen in and you will receive vibration from listening. If you'd like to tune in with me and say them along with me, feel free to try it out. I encourage you to play with this practice. I encourage you to dive in a little deeper. I encourage you to meet it with curiosity and willingness and see where you feel okay participating. All right. We've got our chakra mudra. If you have, let's say, 10 minutes or so, maybe, hey, thank you, Ja, for the subscription. See you soon, my friend. Chakra mudra. We will sit for probably about 10-15 minutes for this meditation. So if you have a few minutes, Sit with us for as long as you can. If you can close your eyes, please do so now. And we will begin by taking 3 deep breaths to fully arrive for our practice. Begin by inhaling through the nose, pulling the breath through the lungs and all the way into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, lifting the heart and elongating the spine. And let it go. Inhale once more, expanding the ribcage in all directions, front, sides, and back. Hold at the top. Take in a little more air. A little more. A little more. And let that shit go. Seal the lips. And for just a moment, follow the inhale. Follow the breath all the way to the top. Follow the breath all the way to the bottom. Allowing the breath to slowly elongate with each inhale and exhale. Just take a few moments here to settle in to this space, to call your attention in to the present moment, to set your intention. And your intention could be as simple as experience the meditation. Sit with this mudra. Find a moment of quiet. It can be something else too. Whatever resonates with you, set that intention. You will bring your attention back to that intention again and again and again. My intention for today is to allow this chakra to do its magnificent work on my energy body and align some misaligned nonsense. Clear some blockages so I can resonate at my highest frequency. Keep breathing. Anytime you notice your mind wandering off, come back to the breath, to your intention. You can focus your awareness on your mudra as well. As you breathe, imagine that there is a string at the very top of your head, and that your body is kind of dangling from the string almost, so that feeling of the elongated spine reaching up towards the sky while the tailbone is reaching down towards the earth. Create a little space between the top of the head and the root. Gently tuck your chin just a little bit towards the chest to keep your head from floating away. And as you continue to bring your awareness back, especially if it's like herding kittens this morning, I invite you to offer any disturbance in the mind, in the body, or in your environment a gentle smile. Allowing everything within you and around you to be as it is. Check in with your mudra briefly. Bring the integrity back, the intention back to your mudra. This is how powerful your attention is. Without your attention, your mudra loses its integrity. So bring your attention back. Bring your intention back to the mudra. Slow, steady breaths. And when you begin to sink into this practice, this present moment, if it feels comfortable for you to do so, I invite you to add the breath work. So begin with your next inhale. Imagine that the breath is coming from the bottom of your seat. You're sitting on your root, your pelvic floor, your perineum. Pull the breath from the root all the way up the front body to the top of the head. As the breath cascades over the top of the head, begin your exhale all the way down the back of the head, neck, and back to the tailbone. Inhale back up the front body. Exhale down the back. Inhale up the front. Exhale down the back. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Slow, steady breaths. Intention in your mudra. No tension in the breath, in the body, in the being. Feel free to notice the sensations that arise within your body, within your breath, within your being during this practice, but I encourage you not to attach stories to them or to follow the thoughts. There is time for reflection afterwards. Right now is just the experience, not the explanation, just the experience. Check in with your mudra. Bring intention back to your mudra. Inhaling the breath up the front body from the root to the crown. Exhaling from the crown to the root down the back body. We'll breathe this way for a few more minutes, and then we will add the mantras. Again, anytime tension arises, whether it be thoughts, sensations in the body, skips in the breath, I invite you not to let them take you away on a journey and just bring your awareness back to your intention. Bring your awareness back to your practice. With gentleness, with compassion, with love. Meet any tension you find with patience. Slow, steady breaths. Bring the intention back to your mudra. If you would like to join me in adding the Bij mantras, the seed mantra for each chakra, you can say it to yourself. It is more powerful when you say it out loud, creating that resonance, that frequency with the voice, letting it echo within you. So I encourage you to at least attempt. We'll go through them one more time before The root chakra is Lam, Lam, Lam. The sacral chakra is Vam, Vam. Solar plexus, Ram, Ram. Heart, Yam, Yam. Throat, Hum, Ham. Third eye, brow chakra is Om. And the crown is Aum, Aum, the open universal Om. You can stay with the breath, just inhaling the breath up the front body and down the back, or you can begin with the Bij mantras. Inhale to begin. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Hum, Om, Inhale the breath up the front body, exhale down the back, and inhale to begin again. Lam, Vam, Ram, Ham, Yam, Hum, Om, Om. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Hum, Om, Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Hum, Om, If you would like to stay with your practice longer, I encourage you to do so. If you feel complete, before we close our practice, I invite you to simply release the mudra, palms up or down in your lap as feels appropriate to you, and just sit with the sensations created by the mudra, by the breath work, by the mantra. Take a moment here just to scan the body loosely, holding your awareness over the entire being, or moving your awareness point by point around the body. Noting the state of being. Notice the quality of your breath. Notice the quality of your mind. Notice the quality of your heart. Release the breath. Release any practice. Allow whatever comes to you to rise and fall without attachment, judgment. When you feel complete, I invite you to bring your hands together into prayer or simply lay one over the other over your heart in gratitude for today's practice. In gratitude for these tools, in gratitude for this magnificent meat bag that we get to drive around in this lifetime and this divine prana that flows through it. Offer yourself some gratitude for taking the time for self-care today. I am so fucking proud of you. I'm glad you made it. And thank you, as always, for helping me cultivate this space where we may learn and grow together, meet each other with curiosity and willingness, and love. When you're ready to come out of meditation, please do so slowly. Offer yourself wiggles, offer yourself stretches. Only open your eyes when you're really sure that you're committed to coming back. I don't know, man. I liked that inner world today. I liked that inner world. Paprika, or paper. Michelle, you're welcome. Paper Kite, how are you? And Michelle, your Pomeranian herd. So that's one of my favorite things, honestly. For so long, I didn't meditate. I didn't practice mindfulness because there were too many things distracting me, too much going on. This pulled my concentration away and this and that. And the reality is that the world is not going to stop for us to have a moment of peace. The world is not going to be quiet for us to have a moment of silence. The practice of mindfulness is finding that peace and quiet within ourselves, irregardless of everything else around us. When I infused that into my practice, it became a very different thing. I wasn't fighting with the outside world to get my time. I was finding my time everywhere I was. Stephanie, you are very welcome. He was looking out the window. I love that. I think last week the puppies were doing the same thing, and we had somebody else whose dog was having a blast with it. Everything starts from within. If you want to change your life, you change the way you look at your life. If you want to change yourself, you change your expectations or way of seeing the world. Change starts from within. Love starts from within. Forgiveness, patience, all of these things start from within. We talked a couple days ago about subjective experience. And I really believe that it's a hint, a nudge in the right direction to recognize that we are stuck in our subjective experience because everything starts here. It is an indicator of where the most important place to start is. I am stuck in my subjective experience. Why am I so concerned with doing all of this stuff to everybody else and everything else and changing the world and changing the people and because we're taught that is how we accomplish things, is an external manifestation of our productivity. We are taught that we have to, if we are going to manifest what we want, really get what we want in life, we have to toil, we have to stick our nose to the grindstone, we have to pull ourselves up by our bootstrap. It's all very clumsy. What's the word? Again, mindfulness is about deepening layers of subtlety, experiencing deepening layers of subtlety in your reality. If I do not recognize the layers of subtleties within myself, then I will not see them outside of myself. I think for me, I learned to look at and point the finger a long time ago. Yeah. My favorite saying ever since I was a kid was always, every time you point your finger, there's 3 pointing back at you. I'm sure you guys have heard that one, right? My mother told me once that if the entire world is wrong, if everyone you know is wrong, then it's time to look in the mirror. It's time to examine yourself. Because the reality is that everybody else can't be wrong. Either you're hanging out with the wrong people, or, and usually, it's important to examine ourselves as well. My mom, Michelle, my mom thinks everyone needs to change but her, and I did that. That is often, right? That is often the mark of, The brain wants to say, I have competing voices in my head right now trying to speak. So hold on a second. Let me just center and settle in. There is only one thing that we are truly responsible for in our lives, and it is our choices and our behaviors. We always have some kind of choice in any situation. It may not be the preferred choice. It may not be a choice that we like. It may be a tiny choice. But we still have choices. I think the greatest travesty is that we are taught from children, from childhood, that everything we need is outside of us, and that we are nothing unless we bring the things from outside inside. I must go to a teacher to learn how to do these things. It's not through my experience that I might learn them. My experience is not as valid as someone who has a piece of paper who says their experience is valid. If I am ill, if I am imbalanced, I must go to a doctor who sees me 15 minutes, maybe 3 times a year, but doesn't live in my body, and then tells me that what I feel and know about my body is not accurate. That somehow being outside of me, that person knows better than I do. We are taught to go to school that we are ignorant and dumb. I want to play semantics there. Because yes, in some ways we are ignorant until we seek that information outside of ourselves. But we forget to acknowledge the wisdoms within ourselves that lead us to our ability to decipher what's for us or not for us on the outside. Yeah, Jess. I love her at a distance. I'm sorry, Arms. It can be really hard when we are going through our own process of becoming more aware of ourselves and of our choices in our lives, and especially if we have surrounded ourselves with people who don't take responsibility for their choices or their lives or their behaviors. Almost one of the first things that we experience is a separation. If you are trying to take responsibility for yourself, but you are surrounded by people who are not taking responsibility for themselves, it's not going to be a supportive environment for you to do that. I tried to do that and found that what happened was they just were like, oh yeah, of course it's your fault. You're taking responsibility now? Great. Here, take all our responsibility too. And people who don't want to take responsibility for themselves are going to keep doing that. Right, Jenny? They're going to keep doing that. And it's okay to still love people who are operating in a way that you don't want to operate anymore. It's equally okay to start setting boundaries and creating space. Not space from them, but space for you. This is really important. It's not a personal attack. I don't hate you because I'm taking space. I need more space to expand outside of this limited box that I've been living in. I've grown out of it. And a lot of times when we grow out of these limited spaces that we've been in our lives, we feel that pressure and we fight against it. We create our suffering, we create our misery because we've outgrown things, yet we hold them so tightly because they are a part of what we identify with. Some will not grow with us. Jenny, reading that and saying that breaks my heart for the people that I have loved so much and the times that I have held on to people far longer than was healthy for either of us. Listen to this. Far longer than was healthy for either of us. If I am growing and expanding and making space, and I limit myself, hold myself back because I'm trying to pull somebody up, I am doing us both a disservice. One of the best things that I can do is to model for those around me the kind of life that I want to live, the kind of person I want to be, the kind of people I want in my life too. Welcome, Forever Green. Hey. You're real chatty this morning. We often feel guilt about these things because, one, it's what we're taught to feel. We feel guilty for choosing ourselves. But I remember my mother martyring herself, giving the shirt off her back time and time and time again. And I'm like, woman, you are naked at this point. You have nothing to give. You are suffering, unwell, imbalanced, rageful, beyond angry. You are rageful. And yet you still keep sacrificing yourself and whining and complaining and berating the world for not giving you what you want. Woman, stop! And give yourself what you need. Feed yourself, bathe yourself, clothe yourself, rest. And then go out to the world and meet the world, and then answer your door, then answer your phone. I had to be 20 fucking something years old to yell that, to say that at my mom. And we're still struggling with it. We still have to love each other at a distance. So you're the cycle breaker, Forever Green. You know, and the thing is, too, I was thinking about this recently about being the cycle breaker. Because I know there's a lot of us, hey, Bishop, are doing that work right now. We are breaking cycles for our families, for generations, for our cultures, for the world, for humanity. The thing is when we come from that turmoil, same, and you try to do something totally different and break that cycle, we want it to be healed. We want it to be beautiful. We want it to be better. We want it to be easier. Because this was so painful and difficult. But the truth is, it might take a generation or two to level the plane. When you're used to nosediving and you're the first pilot to go up, guess what? You're going to go for the damn sun and you may end up burning. So, you know what I mean? Like, the analogy can go all sorts. Like, you don't know how to fly the plane like an expert pilot. So please give yourself some grace. Please give yourself some grace, some love, some compassion. And recognize that if you are the cycle breaker, you are blazing a new trail. You are learning how to, you're learning how to fly. It's not going to be easy, and you're going to fall, and you're going to several times, and it's going to look messy, and people aren't going to agree with it, and people are going to look at you like you're crazy, and they're going to tell you you're doing it wrong because it's not the way that they are used to doing it. That's part of learning to ride a bike is to fall. Part of learning to surf is to fall. But again, we're taught to vilify our mistakes, to guilt ourselves and shame ourselves for not showing up perfect all of a sudden. And then we fight it, we like shame each other over it too, because we're so guilty about not meeting our own expectations that we shame others, project that onto other people. Arms. My lives, I always post the replays on YouTube. So really briefly, hello everyone. My name is Reverend Deborah. I am a movement facilitator, movement in breath, body, and being. I am your shenanigan shaman, and I am also the owner of Move with Change. Move with Change is the umbrella business under which everything else happens. And Move with Change is also my handle on all the platforms. I have replays on YouTube, and I have a Patreon page that offers you information, membership levels, a tip jar, a free link to my Discord page, a shop, and all kinds of stuff. Again, I am Move with Change in all the places. Replays are always on YouTube. Things to purchase and explore are on the Patreon page. Wonderful, yay! So the other thing too, I want to share with you guys briefly about our space. If you saw the little blurb when you came in, there's a little thing about this being a CAYA community. CAYA stands for Come As You Are, because your authenticity is what we're looking for here, is what you're looking for here. This is a journey of coming home to yourself. And if you are on that journey, you'll know that it's not always pretty, that it can get messy, that it can get scary, that it's fucking harrowing at times, especially if you're the generation breaker, especially if you're trying to do something totally different than anyone you know has done, especially if you're like me and you woke up out of that child experience and went, fuck, I don't know how to human. Like, not really. I learned how not to be. But where do I find the tools on how to find me? So I can just be me instead of be anything that they tell me I need to be. Boys! For that reason, for that purpose, I have created an online mindfulness community. Thank you, Gigi. We call it our CAYA community, C-A-Y-A. CAYA community. And it can be described like so. These live classes that we have are our external most facing pieces here. I go live on 5 places at the same time, 5 places at once, 4 times a week. Free classes that I love to give, that I love to hang out with you guys, and we get chats in these classes. Yes? Okay. This is a great space. But inside that space, we have the CAYA Courtyard. This is our Discord space. The CAYA Courtyard is totally free. You can get there through a link on my Patreon page. Again, I'm at Move a Change on Patreon. You can also just send me a message and I will send you a link to the free Discord. That's this space here. If you want to go a little deeper than these chats offer, than the free classes offer, a little more interaction, a little more information sharing, there's a lot of stuff I can't share on the platforms. They take it down. They tell me it violates community guidelines and blah, blah, blah. Inside of that, we have what we call our CAYA Sangha. A Sangha is like it's a community. It's like a temple. It's like a intentional space where we practice mindfulness together. And there's layers in the temple. You can find things like group practice sessions, deep dive mindfulness practice sessions, group coaching. You can find private coaching, private classes. There's also a podcast. There's also a dance hall. There's also workshops going on as well. All of these things happen at various levels of membership. So again, we have our live classes all out here. Then we have our free Discord in here. I love giving stuff away for free. So I hope you come and enjoy it with me. But a little bit deeper in, if you want deepening interaction, if you want deepening practice, if you want deepening learning, if you want one-on-one sessions, if you want energy work and beyond, if you want access to this toolbox, come into the Sangha. All of the information for how to get into different layers of this is on my Patreon page, patreon.com/movewithchange. Go get some free stuff. And go snag a membership. If, and only if, you are ready to commit to your practice. Remember, as a side note, yes, there is a $sign on each level of membership. If the $sign is the only reason you can't get into classes or coaching and things that you want and need, please always reach out to me. You won't know if you don't ask. And I am pretty flexible on those things. A lot of times I prefer trade. That said, I have a couple of roles I need filled, some tech, some video editing, some marketing, stuff like that. So, and as well as mods. So if you have any skills or the time to trade services, I am eager to do so. Otherwise, there are membership levels on the Patreon page. If you have any questions about that, feel free to send me a message. Feel free to reach out on any of the platforms or email me at movewithchange@gmail.com. Okay. That said, awesome arms, good. Hey, Dark Aina. Yeah, I want to make sure, again, it's less of a business model and more of a community, because the intention here is to build the community. That's why there's flexibility. That's why there's all these layers. And that's also why it's a monthly membership setup. If you want to purchase workshops, they're there on the Patreon page. You can just grab one, self-paced, and go do it yourself. But the reality is that if you are coming home to yourself, if you're really intentional about this practice of learning to love yourself, to come home to yourself, to find your authentic self, then it does require your commitment. Do you have to pay for that commitment? No. I'm talking about your commitment to you. I'm talking about 5 minutes a day. I'm talking about building trust with yourself. If you don't want to do that by yourself, please come join us. If you feel like you're surrounded by people who don't understand what you're going through and you can't talk to them about it, please come join us. Again, there's a free space. And if at any point you want to go deeper, you can always go deeper. And if at any point you want to back out a little bit, you can always do that too. The space is created so that you can show up as you are in the moment, whether that's feeling abundant or broke as fuck, right? We fluctuate, we go through that shit. Whether it's feeling excited about life or completely in the dark and lost. The one thing I ask, the most important thing about this space, is that we show up with curiosity and willingness. Hey, Ree. We show up with curiosity and willingness. If you are judging other people, you are judging yourself. If you're tearing down other people, you're tearing down yourself. And those behaviors towards yourself make the selves run and hide. It does not build trust. It does not better your relationship with yourself. And it does not better your relationship with people outside of you either. Jess, if you need help and anybody else navigating Discord, please let me know. I do intend to create videos that'll help you guys with onboarding. But once you're in, I'm doing this all by myself, y'all. So I've got a long list of things to catch up on. So if at any point you just need the help getting around there, I can also just grab a call and show you how to do it. Okay? Absolutely, Stephanie. Thank you guys. And respect for other. Yes, curiosity and willingness. Curiosity and willingness. Because that is how we are learning to approach ourselves. With compassion and patience. With love and respect. So, eventually, I'm actually going to be creating some workshops too on things like nonviolent communication, interpersonal communication, some other coaching, teaching things that give us the actual tools and offer an actual online real-time space to practice these tools. That means guided conversations dealing with really difficult or hot button topics where people can practice the skills of communicating. Franklin, where do I live? I live on planet Earth. Gigi, yes, many of us are learning as we go. Jump in and we can learn together. And yes, a lot of people in there are new to Discord. At any point, we also have a couple of mods in there too. So if you, at any point, you just ask for help, you can also just receive help in there. So you're on Earth too, Ree? Oh my God, we should hang out. But the long-term goal is to build an app so we can have our own space without all the funky other stuff of any other platform. That's going to be really nice and simplified. There's a whole... Let me tell you a small story about me before I go and have breakfast. I was supposed to be named Lauren Janine. I was supposed to be named Lauren Janine. And when I was born, my mother's story is that she was in the hospital in the 80s doing her damn Lamaze. She goes, that was a bunch of bullshit. Breathing out the window. And she said that she watched a shooting star fall across the sky and then held me in her arms. And she said when she looked into my eyes, looking back at her, she goes, I knew I had the wrong name. And she named me Deborah. Deborah. The biblical Deborah. And so I was raised Catholic. I thought I wanted to be a nun. But I read the story of Deborah in the 5th book of Judges, the only female judge. And she sat beneath a laurel tree, a bay leaf, right? Laurel tree. Yes, I'm now Deborah Lauren. And she offered counsel. She offered guidance, advice. She offered safe space. She offered mediation. She offered judgment where necessary. And the universe already, I don't know how to, what? I've already always been that person. Those of you who are that person know that the universe just brings people to you when they need something. And part of our journey is learning not just to give everything we have every time someone comes to us, because we feel it in our blood, in our bones, to give and to care for and to hold space for and to help soothe and to make the world a better place. But we must learn to fill our cup first And then that overflows naturally to those around us. It overflows naturally. And it has taken me 40 fucking years. 40 fucking years. To finally figure out how to do that consistently. How to do that regularly. How to do that effectively. And I've got this fat toolbox back here that I went intentionally over the years and collected, mostly because I was healing myself, mostly because I wanted to figure out how I worked, how this body, how this mind, how this energy works, and why I can feel it moving through me, and why I can intentionally give myself goosebumps. And why do I feel it when someone else feels it? I went down all these rabbit holes and pulled out all of these bits and pieces, and I stacked them away. And now, finally, it's like the universe gave me the green light and said, okay, go. You've packed your bags, you've filled the toolbox, you've put the information into practice enough. So this isn't just a business. This isn't me just being like, well, yoga's really popular, so let me just create a little yoga studio and everybody will pay me for it, right? I'll just put like a huge price tag on the thing and everybody think I'm really like important. No. This is about fulfilling my dharma. This is about standing in my purpose. Hey, Reverend Bhakti Mama, how are you? This is being in alignment with my authentic self, with my truth. And creating a space where I can share all of this with you guys. I love you too. It's been a long time coming, and it's been really it's not always easy to stand in your truth. It's not always easy to stand in your power. But I want to show you how. Not just because there's some cool tricks you can do with yoga. Not just because there's some cool things that you can do with mantras or mudras. But because these things have not only saved my life, but have made my life into so much more than I ever expected it could be. And it actually is not about the things that are happening outside of me. Yes, some of those are, and it's beautiful to see. But it is about, for the first time in my life, being able to say, I love who I am, because I'm letting myself be who I am. And it wasn't easy to get here. So I want you to know you're not alone. Franklin, experiences are real. You could speak on those, but truth comes from reading. Reading in and of itself, my friend, is a very, very narrow perspective, and it's only usually one or two people's perspective. A lot of the issue with written history is that it is a very narrow perspective of events that happen to very many people. And when we rely on only a singular perspective, we completely deny the rest of the truth, the rest of the elephant. So yes, is the written information important as one aspect to the whole? But we are taught to deny our experience and rely solely on what somebody else wrote down however long ago from their perspective. It is not the whole picture. I do. I walk beside Christ, and I have my entire life. He came out of my heart when I was a child and spoke to me and told me who I am and what I am doing. He has carried me. In fact, he has literally lifted me out of my body in some of the most terrifying moments in my life. That story, that poem, Footsteps, I always had it above my bed because in the most traumatic, violent, terrifying moments of my life, I was literally lifted out of my body and held, carried across the room or out of the room, so I did not even have to experience the thing that occurred. As I said, I was going to be a Catholic nun, but it was actually Christ who walked with me away from the Catholic Church. We cannot rely on a singular perspective for the entire story. And if we bicker over essentially semantics, different ways of telling the same stories, or different angles of the same truth, then we are at war with each other indefinitely. And this is why I talk about curiosity and willingness. Instead of making statements based on your assumptions, limited assumptions based on limited experience and understanding of something or someone, you could pose questions. Not a question rounded out with assumption, but one infused with curiosity. Patriot Parkinson's, yeah. Christ consciousness guided me away from the Mormon church in which you were raised. I've met a lot of people doing their deconstruction right now, and it's really interesting to me how many people still feel Christ in their lives. It is in our bickering with each other, it is in all the infighting that we stay isolated and separate. But if we were all the same and believed in the same exact thing, the world would be black and white and boring. And it's very short-sighted to believe that the world is that limited. It's very blinders on to not look out there and see the truth of God in everything and everyone, everywhere. That this Christ consciousness, Jesus, God, Almighty, Allah, Savior is somewhere outside of us, that we have to toil for them and beg for forgiveness and hope that someday we can be on high with them, is this illusion of separation that keeps us in this infantile relationship with our God, with our parents, with our government, with our boss. One of the most important things I learned all out of building all of this stuff, one of the most powerful things that I found on this journey was my captain. My captain. My center. My awareness. My locus of control. In a world where there are 10 million arms reaching in to manipulate your reality, one of the most powerful things that you can have is your locus of control, is your awareness. When you come from the authentic place of centered, that authentic place of recognizing the divinity that flows through you, and standing in that truth and in the power of that authentic reality, it's much harder to manipulate you. Yeah, Jess, it's gaslighting. I do like the ocean analogy. Somebody else also said it once, like alphabet soup. The universe itself is a soup, right? And we are the bits of chicken, alphabet noodles, peas and carrots, right? The entire universe is all within this soup, but the soup itself is God. Franklin, we don't have to agree. But no one is here dismissing you. You are welcome to believe that there is a single God out there. And you are welcome to judge people as crazy for not agreeing with you. But I guarantee you won't expand your understanding. I guarantee you won't be able to meet people authentically from that place. You won't be able to see me or anybody else in here. And that's your choice, and that's okay. It's okay. I invite you to forgive, to hold space, hold compassion in your heart for people who want to stay in that narrower. I want to change my words. I want to change my words because I'm not trying to come from judgment. There is benefit. There are lessons in going your entire life with your blinders on and trying to compartmentalize the entirety of the infinity of reality into a small box of understanding. There are lessons in there. There are gifts in there. And if you want to take that path, then more power to you. I have found for me that I don't like that path. It doesn't feel right for me. Following that path has led me deeper and deeper into my suffering. But following the truth within me has led me out of that suffering, has led me out of the darkness that is judgment, that is guilt and shame. Guilt and shame are tools that keep you small and feeling powerless. But again, there is something to learn in feeling small and powerless. Stay there as long as you would like to stay there. Thank you, Flamer. Yes. For some of us, God exists outside of thought, structure, and belief. And a lot of times as humans with our limited scope of perception and our limited tools of language and expression, we do the best we can to explain something that is far beyond our comprehension. That is why when people experience the deep, deep relationship with divinity, it is often something they cannot put into words. The same thing with mindfulness and meditation. There are places that you reach that do not have words, that simply, tears simply flow, and your breath suddenly expands, and I swear to God, I might be floating. There are no words. And so to attempt to write it down in a book and say that that is the truth is only an attempt, is only a small fraction of the whole of the experience, because you can't put it into words. I think we miss that a lot of times when we take the book piece of information and go, well, here's the empirical evidence. Nobody can dispute that. It's written down by somebody. You are far more powerful than you know, and there are reasons that you're told you're not this powerful. I love you too, T-Man. There are very terrible reasons. Actually, I was going to say very good reasons. No, those are fucking terrible reasons. There are very terrible reasons. Why? You have been taught to sit down and listen to the authority figure. There are reasons why you have been taught that you don't have any intrinsic power within you, that you have to fight for it, that you have to work for it, that you don't have some inner knowing, you don't have a connection to divinity. Somebody just decided, well, you know what, if I'm the middleman between that person and their divinity, I can make myself a pretty penny. Or I could set myself up just right. You don't need a middleman to meet yourself, to meet your God, to see the divinity within you, to walk your truth. Your truth lives inside of you. You are your guru, your own guru. And we are at a point in our collective evolution where it's time for you to recognize that. We're all drops in the ocean, right? Well, the ocean is warming up. You are warming up to your truth, to your authenticity, to your divinity, to your true nature. Whatever that may look like for you, whatever that experience may be for you, this is what is happening by the fact that you're alive. You can ride that rise, or you can cling and try to stay in the depths. It is completely up to you, and there is a gift in every layer of that. If you want to change the world, if you want to change the structures of the world, if you want to change the way that we interact with each other in the world, if you want to change the way the world treats you, start here. Be the change is not just an anecdote. And when you find that power within you, your reality changes so profoundly that you can't go back. You can't go back, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know. So, that said, take your time on this path. There is no rush. You are exactly where you need to be in the moment, exactly as you need to be in the moment. And watch life as it unfolds around you. You need the awareness of the present moment to watch life unfold around you. Otherwise, you might miss it. Do you want to learn those tools? Keep joining me in class. I go live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday mornings, all at 10 a.m. If you want to dive deeper than just these free classes, you can find replays of those classes on YouTube at Move with Change. But if you want to dive deeper, come into our Discord. Go follow me on my Patreon page. I'm at Move with Change in all the places. Go explore deeper on the Patreon page. Come join the Discord space so we can interact more and I can share more resources. And if you want to really get into the juicy stuff, grab a membership. I love you so much. What's she doing, puppy? Are you pumping it up? I hope that for just a moment today, you can find a moment to meet the world, somebody, something, some situation, with curiosity and willingness. And see, look for the divinity within them. Look for God, for Christ, divinity, source. Look for it in them. It's there. I guarantee you, it's there. Your job today is to find it in one person, one situation, one place, just one. Jess, welcome. I'm so glad you joined. That's why I keep doing these lives, honestly. Like I said, 4 times a week, 10 a.m. Pacific time. If you are in the Sangha, if you are a Sangha Stewards level membership or above, we do have group coaching happening here in just about a half hour. If you would like to join group coaching, the first several levels of membership have a 7-day free trial, which means you can join our twice weekly group coaching, you can join our deep dive practice sessions, and you can explore the deeper levels of the Sangha totally for free. I'll see you in the Sangha. I'll see you in class. If you have any questions, reach out. Replays are on YouTube at Move With Change, and I am at Move With Change on all the platforms. So go follow me wherever it is you hang out, but definitely follow me on YouTube and on Patreon. I love you. Go find God. Just one. Just in one place, one person, one thing. Just one. Just one. All right. Time to say goodnight to everybody. Good night, Kick. Good night, Twitch.